Question. Calculate gross profit ratio from the following data. Average inventory 1,60,000. Inventory turnover ratio 8 times. Average trade receivable 2 lakh. Trade receivable turnover ratio 6 times. Cash sales 25% of net sales. Gross profit ratio equal gross profit divided by revenue from operations into 100. Gross profit ratio equal gross profit divided by revenue from operations into 100. Here we have average inventory of rupees 1,60,000. Inventory turnover ratio 8 times. Average trade receivable 2 lakhs. Trade receivable turnover ratio 6 times. Cash sales 25% of net sales. From average trade receivable and trade receivable turnover ratio, we can calculate net credit sales. Credit sales equal average trade receivable into trade receivable turnover ratio. Trade receivable turnover ratio equal net credit sales divided by average trade receivable. In this case, we have trade receivable turnover ratio and average trade receivable. From that, we can calculate credit sales. Trade receivable turnover ratio equal net credit sales divided by average trade receivable. So, credit sales equal average trade receivable into trade receivable turnover ratio. Average trade receivable is given, that is rupees 2 lakhs into trade receivable turnover ratio 6. So, 2 lakh into 6, rupees 12 lakh is the credit sales. Cash sales are 25% of net sales or total sales. So, this 12 lakh rupees represents 75% of credit sales. Total sales. Total sales equal cash sales plus credit sales. Cash sales 25%. So, credit sales 75% of total sales. Here, we have credit sales of rupees 12 lakh. So, total sales equal 12 lakh into 100 by 75 equal 16 lakhs. Revenue from operations or net sales equal 16 lakh. Gross profit equal revenue from operations minus cost of revenue from operations. Revenue from operations 16 lakh or net sales 16 lakh minus cost of revenue. Cost of revenue from operations average inventory into trade receivable turnover ratio, which is equal to 12 lakh 80,000. Trade receivable turnover ratio equal cost of revenue from operations divided by average inventory. In this case, we have average trade receivable turnover ratio and average inventory. Average inventory and inventory turnover ratio. Average inventory and inventory turnover ratio. Cost of revenue from operations equal average inventory into inventory turnover ratio. Inventory turnover ratio equal average inventory. Cost of revenue from operations divided by average inventory. So, cost of revenue from operations equal average inventory into inventory turnover ratio, which is equal to 1,60,000 into 8, 12,80,000. Gross profit equal revenue from operations minus cost of revenue from operations, that is 16 lakh minus 12,80,000 equal 3,20,000. Gross profit ratio equal 3,20,000 divided by 16 lakh into 100. Gross profit divided by revenue from operations into 100. Gross profit 3,20,000. Revenue from operations 16 lakh. So, gross profit ratio equal 20%.